Hi, hello, and welcome to the 24th episode of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zena. If their pronouns are they, them. I am so happy you are here with me. Today is Saturday, September 13th. It is a lovely fall day. My heater is running, so if you hear some weird noises in the background, it's just how our house stays heated. I didn't think the heater was on, but I just heard it as I was talking. I was like, oh, I should probably explain that. This is my YouTube channel where we talk about all things knitting and also other crafts I might be working on, things I'm reading, life stuff. It has been a very quiet week here. Things are mostly chill. I feel like my body wants to have pneumonia again, which is really unfortunate because I just had pneumonia this summer and I would like to feel better. And my lungs are like, what if you didn't? Which is really frustrating. Apart from that, it's been pretty chill. I started a new D&D campaign last Sunday. I will talk about that towards the end of the video. I also received a genuinely massive yarn haul, yarn de-stash from one of my friends earlier this week. I posted that video on Monday. So if you haven't seen that and you want to see basically an entire plastic tub's worth of yarn coming into my stash, that video is available for you. I haven't organized it yet. I need to do that possibly this afternoon. I will get to that. Right now, it's just all in a plastic bin under my bed, but I would like to get it integrated into the rest of my stash. We will see what happens. Anyway, settle in if you are feeling cozy, if you are feeling a little bit of whimsy. This morning, I did not go to Dunk's. I did not go to Starbucks. I made myself an English breakfast tea out of my new teacup. This is from Michael's. I think they're already sold out at my Michael's. But I'm very happy with this. I also have the matching teapot, but the teapot is on display upstairs because my roommate collects teapots. And she puts them on display upstairs, which is just a delight. Anyway, I think that is all I have for introductory things, as far as I know. So we're going to move on to finished objects. I have 4 for this week. I started knitting yarn cozies because that came up on my spinner for like the next thing I should do. And I loved them so much that I made 4 of them and I didn't finish my socks. I didn't work on socks at all last week until yesterday. This is the pattern by Knitting Natty. I will try to tell you the yarns as they come through. This one had been knit into a pair of socks, so it was too small for me. And I'm obsessed with this color. This is Key Lime Heather by Stroll, which is a Knit Picks yarn. So, and this yarn is discontinued. I'm very upset about it because I'm obsessed. I think it's the best color. I also have this one. This one is all scraps. This one was, last episode I showed a jar of scraps full almost to the top. These things eat yarn. I think the pattern says it only calls for 20 grams of yarn, and the pattern is lying. Because this was almost an entire sock. Like, this plus this was an entire sock. I'm just saying. So that's crazy. I also have this little guy. This one is Craftily Dyed Yarns Indian Corn. The blue was a mini that I got from somewhere that had already been used multiple times. And then this one is Crazy Alien Plant Lady from Blue Barn Fiber. And then I started undoing the second sock. And then I finished this one on Thursday. And on Fridays I cast on new socks. So I did not start another yarn cozy because I needed those needles to be open. So there's that. The next thing I have to show you, we're moving into works in progress in my bag, which is socks for me. You have seen these twice now. These are my next pair of Stroll socks. They might be my last pair of Stroll tweed socks, actually. So this is where we left off last time. I feel like I don't trust this stitch marker. I feel like I got further than that, but that's where the marker is. So apparently that's where I was a week ago. So I did finish the first sock, and then I got through the leg on the second sock. These colors they're Stroll Tweed from Knit Picks. The contrast color is Barley Heather. I think the main color, I believe, is Forest. It might be Dill, but I think it's Forest. And I'm thinking that these might actually be the last pair of Stroll Tweed socks that I knit. I still have a bunch picked out for me to go, like one's the next to the next. But they're not sparking joy as much as like my indie dyed yarns and, you know, all the like really, really cool yarns that I have. And for some reason, for a while, I was like, I should also have mediocre socks. And then I thought about it and I was like, why? Why am I doing that? So I think I'm going to pause on the Stroll Tweed. I think my Stroll Tweed stash would be better used for the weeks where I get yarn cozies, and then I can just have them like a uniform color and be able to, you know, use them in various ways. So just thinking about that. Anyway, I didn't use a specific pattern for these, but I do have kind of like a standard vanilla that's my own. I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. I do 30 rounds for the leg. I do a slip stitch heel. I do however many rounds I need for the foot. For my shoe size, that is 65 rounds. And I do a basic square toe. So that's these socks. They are really soft. I'm really enjoying them. I know I'm going to like wearing them. I'm just also thinking like of all the other like really fancy yarns I have that I'm not getting to because I keep knitting Stroll. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. It doesn't help that I think my roulette wheel just always wants to pick Stroll stripes. Like it picks that one way more than it picks the other ones, which I think is interesting because it should be balanced and it's not. Anyway, yesterday was Friday. I casted on a new pair of socks as per usual in this bag, which is by Julie Quez, who is a vendor on Etsy. This is my Socks for Not Me bag. And in here I started this one. So I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a very like slight pattern in the leg. This is the Sunday Swing pattern from knitty.com. It's an old pattern. It's from like 2008 or something, but I made a couple weeks ago I made a spreadsheet of all the patterns that I have. And I decided, like, if I have them in a list, then I can be a little bit more organized about actually knitting the patterns that I have. Because I have close to 60 knitting patterns and I've knit less than 5 of them. So I was like, that's a problem. So what I did yesterday, I couldn't think of, like, what pattern I wanted to use. There wasn't one specifically calling to me. So I have 58 lines on the list. So I had Google pick a number 1 through 58 and it chose, I think it was like number 32 or something, and that happened to be this pattern. I'm really enjoying it. I think you can't see the pattern that well, but it just has this just a little textured element, but it's not textured in such a way that like people who have texture feelings are going to be mad, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm saying this morning. This is my third attempt at filming also, and I never take more than one edit. Like I haven't done that since like episode 3, maybe. We're doing wonderful this morning. Anyway, but they look super cool in person because they're just slightly wavy. And it's a very easy pattern to memorize, and I'm just really, really loving them. Just enjoying them a lot. Also, the yarns I'm using, the contrast color is definitely Stroll. It's a Stroll Mini. I think the color is just white. I'm not sure. And then the main color I'm using is a discontinued color, also from Knit Picks, and that is in Static Building Blocks. And it's very vibrant. I feel like I started knitting this sock, and it's in the Socks for Not Me bag, which means it's going to be a gift for someone. And I was like, I don't know who to give these to. And I might have like taken a picture of them before I put the heel on and like put them on my Instagram and just been like, I don't know who to give these to, and just like waited for someone to be like, oh my god, this is really cute, just to be like, they're for you. Part of me also was like, I could keep these. These could be my socks. And so that was also going through my head because they do look really, really cool and they would be a nice pop of color because I only wear one color and that's black. In fact, not to like tangent, but I wear one color, it's black. And that is, yes, that is why my camera is always angled away. That's my wardrobe. Anyway. Another tangent. I love teacups that come with saucers. I think they are underrated. Saucers are great. You can put your little when you finish brewing your tea, you can put your tea bag on there and it just like automatically holds it. You can put your little like shortbread cookies or whatever on there. You can put your cup directly on areas you would not normally set a cup because it forms like a little stable base, like the side of my bed. Makes sense. It's so good. Also, you don't have to like look around for a coaster because like the coaster comes with it. You know what I mean? Like I love that. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. So yes, that is all my knitting for the week. If that is all you were here for, thanks so much for stopping by. Otherwise, let's talk about how life is going. I started a new D&D campaign. I'm not the DM or anything. I just joined. I joined a D&D campaign. It had its first session last week. It was super fun. My character is not the most ridiculous character in this campaign, and I think that's really funny because my character is a I think it's like an Underdark gnome. I play a gnome ranger who's a small business owner of a pest control company and basically does not know that he's a monster hunter. And I think that's really funny. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah, and my character's not the most ridiculous one. I did not ask in advance if I could like talk full details about the D&D campaign, so I'm not going to talk about anyone else's characters, just like in case people feel weird about it, but there is some genuinely marvelous characters in my campaign. So that is super fun. I also have the campaign that I've been in is going to be this Sunday, so I'm excited about that. I need to make sure that I have enough knitting for that. I will probably do what I have been doing and bring either my blanket or my Kalara. I would love to bring socks though and just work on socks. But the problem is, even with like 3 hours, it's like I knit socks so quickly that I end up like not having enough knitting to do, and that's a problem. So I will probably bring one of those projects and just kind of fill it out. We'll see. As far as other things, I've been doing tons of reading on audiobooks. I've been listening to the Secrets and Scrabble Cozy Mystery Series by Josh Lanyon. I'm not going to talk about them individually right now, because I plan to do like everything I read in September at the end of the month, and that may be a very long video because I've been finishing an audiobook a day. So that's going to be a lot of books by the end of the month, especially because I'm still reading like physical books. So we'll see. Anyway, I finished that series. I'm all caught up. I don't know if it's still being continued or not. But yeah, that's done. And then I'm reading physically Rule of Two, which is the second book in the Darth Bane trilogy, which is part of Star Wars Legends. And I've only read the first chapter and it immediately gutted me. It was so dark. And I was like, I need to put this back down. So my plan is to read a little bit of it today. I know it's going to be really dark because the first book was super dark, and I think this one is just like even worse. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to read it, but I'm also like, I feel like I might need to like scrub my soul afterward You know, this was written at a very different time in the world where you could be a lot more dark than you can, I think, now, which is a whole other take we're not going to necessarily get into. I just love tea. Here's a tangent. I didn't know until like a week or two ago that my work has a cafeteria, and they put flavored coffees in the cafeteria. For some reason, I thought they only had like decaf and regular, and I was like, that's a bummer that all the flavorings are cream, and I have a milk allergy, so I'm like, I can't have cream. Like, I can only have the almond milk. And I realized, no, they have flavored coffees available, including pumpkin spice, and they have another one called I think it's Witch's Brew, which is basically pumpkin spice but also with vanilla and anise seasoning. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's incredible. So now I drink coffee at work, where I used to like make tea and I would bring tea with me every day. And now I just get to work and make coffee. And therefore coffee is no longer special to me. This happened very fast. This happened over the course of like a week and a half. I'm like, I no longer feel the need to drive to Dunks on a Saturday morning to get something that I've already had 5 times this week. So now the thing that feels really special is brewing the tea I already have at home. This is ironic, I know. But I'm really having just the time of my life drinking tea. I should put my pinky out. My best life is being lived. Speaking of my best life being lived, it's fall. That's my favorite season. I feel like I'm just coming back to life. My favorite thing to do as the weather drops, I love soup. I have a reputation among my friends as being like the soup monarch, the soup hag. It's me. I am making soup every single weekend. I'm really good at making soup. I have a stock in my freezer that is almost a year old. Because it's like every time I make stock, I take it out of the freezer and I put it in the pot, and then I make stock, and then I put some into like whatever soup I'm gonna make, and then I boil the rest of it back down and put it back in the freezer. It's incredibly concentrated. It is like gelatinous, like even when hot, it's a little bit thick. It's a little bit thicker than it maybe should be. It's delicious. It has so many chickens and vegetables and whatever in it. It's good stuff. It would have been older, but it got thrown out 2 years ago, and I literally cried. I was like, you threw out my toddler. You threw out 2 years worth of stock. Like, man. But yeah, I have another one. It's about a year old. And yesterday I just was feeling real cozy yesterday, and I couldn't tell if I was getting sick or not, so I took the day off. And I was feeling better through the day, so by the time it got to like evening, like when I would have been home anyway, I decided I was gonna do a whole bunch of cooking. So I made red lentil pumpkin soup, which is the first soup I want to make during the fall season, because it's like you get your pumpkins, you get your legumes, like it's good. I usually make it as a curry, and this year I was like, I don't know that I want to do a curry, so I used some ginger. I put an apple in there for sweetness. I used some mirepoix in there as well, and then instead of curry seasoning, I put Burberry spice, like just a little bit, and then I added some extra cinnamon to it. It already has cinnamon in that blend, but I added more. And I also added a ton of garlic. It came out so good. It came out so good. I was like, I would have been happy if this was the only thing I was having for dinner last night. And instead I had courses, because I basically made 2 dinners at once. Because like the soup is a meal on its own. It's got like, you know, the protein from the lentils. It has all the vitamins from the pumpkin. Like, you know, it's got good stuff going on. But then I also roasted a whole pan of cubed butternut squash. And then I had a second pan that had flat kale and broccoli. And then when it was almost done, I put some cod fillets on the top of that and covered them in garlic and lemon and some oil and some lemon pepper. and some salt. And then I baked that as well. So I had like baked cod, broccoli, kale, and butternut squash plus the soup. And I was like, this is incredible. Also, I had made pumpkin bread earlier in the day. So it was just really cozy. I was feeling so cozy yesterday and just having a great time. Also, roasted kale is incredible. That's how you make kale chips, which is a very underrated way to eat kale. But adding the kale to a dish of roasted vegetables and just mixing them in there, that is the best way to do it. Because then you're not like, oh, I'm eating a bowl of kale chips. You're like, no, like I'm eating like butternut squash and broccoli, and then there's also kale chips in here. That's amazing. So yes. Anyway, I feel like I'm going on so many tangents right now, but I'm just feeling very cozy and very good, and kind of ignoring that I feel like there's a bunch of crap in my lungs, like that I would like to not have in my lungs. Anyway, I hope you have a very whimsical week. This is all I have for you today. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.